I want to quote for you the preface to the commentary on the Old Testament written by the noted scholars C.F. Keel and F. DeLeach. Virtually every Christian commentary written within the past century relies to some level or another on this work. Keel and DeLeach were Germans, pioneering Christian scholars who wrote in the early to middle part of the 1800s. It was reserved for deism, naturalism, and rationalism, which became so prevalent in the closing quarter of the 18th century to be the first to undermine the belief in the inspiration of that first covenant, and more to choke up this well of saving truth. So that at the present day, depreciation of the Holy Scriptures of the Old Testament is as widely spread as ignorance of what they really contain. A little more than 150 years ago, mere 150 years ago, Keel and DeLeach were eyewitnesses to that moment in history that the institutional church sawed the Bible in half and threw the first part of it away. They chronicled it. They fought against it. And even though they are still among the most esteemed Christian scholars studied to this day, their caution and warning has been mostly ignored. And now the nearly blind and deaf institutionalized Church of Jesus Christ gallops on, convinced that they are finally and fully emancipated to live any life they choose without any fear of consequence from our fearsome God. Those who have fairly recently taken up this good fight to rediscover the formative part of our Bible and to once again explore its truths found nowhere else in God's Word, are now forced to endure the taunts and the accusations of these blind spiritual advisors who lead our largest Christian organizations. They say we are cults that desire to minimize Yeshua or to lead people into rabbinical Judaism, or even to entirely separate ourselves from him, when in fact just the opposite is the truth. This was the same accusations, by the way, that were hurled at the Puritans and the Pilgrims, who fled the increasingly secular and warped European Christianity for a new start and a new world across the Atlantic. This should not surprise us. In many ways, it follows that same pattern that we observe in the standard modern exegetical teaching of the New Testament, which is itself so dependent upon Messiah's Sermon on the Mount as recorded in the book of Matthew. And so when we complete Ruth, we shall immediately begin that gospel.